Is Lukie Games a scam? No.
The green screen didn't work, you f***ing idiot.
Hi. The Canadian green screen didn't work. Enjoy green.
No.
Skip it up and that up. Hello everybody, this is Rich of Review Tech USA, and you are a person watching Rich of Review Tech USA, and today's video is sponsored by Kinguin. Let me ask you something, why is there a watermark on the bottom of your screen saying Windows is not activated? Stop being cheap, or if you want to be cheap, that's why you go to Kinguin to get legitimate Windows 10 and 11 codes to get rid of that watermark. So look, I know it's super easy and you could get Windows 11 now without getting it activated, but when you're playing games, or you're watching a TV show, or you're watching Netflix, or you're watching DSP gaming, why would you want to see Windows is not activated in the bottom right corner of your screen? Especially with Kinguin, you could activate Windows for so cheap. Kinguin has codes for Windows 10, Windows 11, Microsoft Office at prices you could never get even on places like Amazon. And we're not just talking old games that you could get discounts on. You could get discounts on brand new games and games that even aren't released yet for the PC, like The Last of Us and Hogwarts Legacy just came out. So you could save a ton of money, not just on Windows 10 or 11, but upcoming games and new games that were just released. I've been using Kinguin since about 2016, before having them as a sponsor was even a thought, and I got Windows 10 keys for countless computers at insanely affordable prices. So get 20% off your next purchase over at kinguin.net by clicking the link in the description and using the code RTECH, that's RTECH, to save 20% off your next order. And that's on top of their insanely cheap prices to begin with. You can't lose with that. Kinguin, been using them for over half a decade. I love them. Thank you for supporting the show.
You guys knew that this would happen. You knew it would happen, that we would be crazy enough to order something from Lukie Games, which is another retro site that was recommended to us. We have done enough DK oldies until next week, of course, but we have something very special here in front of me. We have a Super Nintendo in great condition from Lukie Games. It's right here, it's in here, it's heavy. It's actually heavy, I don't know why it's so heavy. So I'm gonna be opening it on the show, and we're going to see if another retro company is really refurbishing their retro consoles. Right now on their website, this is going for $261. It comes with 2 Super Nintendo controllers, and if you look closely at the image on the website, those aren't official controllers. Now, guess what? That's okay, it's not the end of the world, at least it's not misleading. It does say below the Super Nintendo comes with the 2 controllers, the power supply, and AV hookup, but again, if you look at the photo itself, those are third party, so I'm expecting third party controllers in this box. What do you say? You can't see him, can you? He's a bird here. Now, if we look at the website, it's very clearly stated in the description that the console comes with a Super Nintendo, 2 controllers, the power supply, AV hookup, and if you read right below that, the system has been tested and is guaranteed to work. And if you look just below that, it says condition refurbished. This is a Super Nintendo in its original form in great condition with a 1-year warranty. So it is matching DK oldies, so let's not waste any more time and let's open up the box and see what we have. First thing we have in here is the shipping notice. Says thank you, you got a Super Nintendo in great condition. Why am I holding the knife still? And that is it. Congratulations on purchasing your Super Nintendo system from Lukie Games. It also states, please clean all games before playing. It's best to use a Q-tip with rubbing alcohol. Clean all the contacts so there's no visible dirt on the Q-tip. Whatever. Place it in the system, take it out, clean it one more time, let it dry for a couple of minutes before playing. Are they talking about sex? If you are using an RF connector, hook up the cable. make sure to try both channels, so channel 3 and 4. So if you grew up with these systems, you know exactly what that means. This is hilarious, this part. It says, following these suggestions, your SNES system will bring you many years of enjoyment. If you have any questions, don't hesitate, please contact us. Then they have a checklist, which is very cool to see. It says the console, third-party controllers. It says here third-party, but on the website it doesn't, so let's note that. Power supply, AV cable. It says quality control verification. So it's proven, and it says it was packed by AF, and the system has been refurbished and tested by AF. So here we go. So let's go into the box. Let's start with this. So if you look closely, we have, what? What? Wait a second. Wait a second. No way. 2 third-party controllers. What is going on? Do they know who this is being sent to? Look at this. That's not third party. Look at this. That is not third party. So how does it feel? Let's see. It feels good. You know, I grew up on the Super Nintendo. Obviously, we're going to test it, but it feels good on the first controller. This is exciting. This is lunacy. I get to do this on the show? What? What is... Wait a minute. What is going on here? What is this? I think it's a Japanese controller. Look at this. This is weird. Another controller that isn't third party is just in here. It's just sitting in here. I don't know if that camera's focusing. I don't know. But look, 2 different controllers. One says Nintendo engraved. I'm gonna have to look into that. And then a Super Nintendo controller. This one just says Nintendo. I do see... Yeah. It's not cleaned. It definitely was not opened. This controller, you know, we'll open it up after, but let me go over the cleanliness of these controllers. Now, the Super Nintendo controller that came with it, it's pretty clean. I'm gonna give him a pass on this one. This one though, not happening. Not getting a pass on this one. I'll get some close-up shots of this for you guys after. It's absolutely disgusting inside. So, controller, not so good. AV cables, these are official, so that's interesting to see. I'm glad that they put that in there. Then we have an official Super Nintendo adapter. So that is great to see. The cable looks like it's in great condition. The connection looks good. It definitely was not cleaned. Point that out. I can see some dirt and debris around the barrel, which is not the end of the world, but this is apparently a refurbished system. So here we go. What is that? What is that? Nothing. Just kidding. Here we go. What do you guys think? What do you think? Okay. So far, wow. Huh. I feel kind of impressed with this. If you look at that, it's cleaned. Now, I will point out that there clearly is a few different parts from other Super Nintendos, so yeah. Well, that was weird. It was on the on position, but that's not the end of the world. Well, let's check. Yeah? Yeah. So far, guys, I don't know. I don't know. This is the cleanest this is the cleanest Super Nintendo I've ever seen in my life, I think. You know, in the last how many years? Now, One problem though. If you look right here, there's some scratches in the plastic. These are, if you hear that, take the side of the knife, listen. So that's gonna lose some points. Now it says it's in great condition. Would I say this is great condition? Yeah. Realistically, I'd say this is... Okay, interesting. Huh. It's looking like they cleaned the pins. They cleaned the connector in there. Let's take a little peek in the eject button, because the eject button, if it wasn't cleaned, we'd see a ton of dirt and debris just on the top here. I'm impressed with this so far. You know, we're gonna open it up, but I'm impressed. Did they open it? We're gonna find out. But before we open this console, we're going to test a game that I picked up today called DK Country. Joey, call me.
No.
I think we should probably plug this in and see if it's working. And if it's not working, wow. Well, there's one problem with this power plug that I just noticed right now. Can you see that? Well then, look at this power plug. What in the world happened to this power plug? I took it out of the box, put it on the table, and this is what we're dealing with. Look at it. Oh no. So I'm gonna have to bend this back into place. So far, dirty controller. Essentially, I would say this is broken. I mean, it showed up broken. I can fix it obviously, but I hope that does not damage it. So let me bend it back in place. Then let's try to test this out. And we're gonna do it with the little game called DK Country. Okay, the AC adapter worked once I bent the prongs back into place. So now is the moment of truth. I'm going to do exactly what they said here. You can see I am just doing mono on this one for now. Oh, you can hear it. So video in, mono. So here we go, the moment of truth. I bought this today. It is spotless. It was cleaned. I inspected it myself. As you know, I worked in a retro gaming store. I'll get a close-up of this after, but you'll see that it is basically perfect and clean. So here we go. Let's see what happens. By the way, I'm using the Japanese SNES controller. Here we go. I saw something. Here we go. Power on. Okay. Look. Oh no. Oh no. This is not looking good for them. So there's no magical thing happening here. You could see in the video, this is plugged in correctly. It's plugged in correctly. It's a little loose. Should probably, yeah, it's a little loose. Shouldn't really affect it though. Okay. I'm telling you, this is spotless. It's spotless. Wait. Oh, I saw something there. I saw color. Oh no. What is going on here? This is embarrassing for them. Okay, let's try something else here. Powered on. Is it this? You can see that it is connecting to the system. Watch, I unplug it, line in comes on the screen, so it is seeing that it's plugged in, see? Huh. I've got the power on the front. This is weird. Let's try unplugging controller, unplugging this, plugging it back in. I don't know at this point. That's... Okay. That was weird. DK oldie, country. Okay. It seems to be working. No major issues. Other than the fact that it took 5 minutes to turn on. Okay. Okay, wait. Buttons feel good. Responsive. Seems to be good. Music's amazing. Now, let's try the Super Nintendo controller. The Super Nintendo controller is the clean one, so that's good. Seems to be working. Yes. Yep, D-pad. Feels good. Let's go here. Yeah. Test the buttons. Works. Slap ass. Thank you.
All right, we tried Donkey Kong. I do have another game that we need to try. I just went out and got this. That's why it looks a little different and the audio is different, but RoboCop 3. This is a classic. This is a game that I rented back in the day at, I think it was like a Supermart or something. I used to live above a convenience store that had retro games, and you would just buy a pass or something weird, I remember, and you'd be able to rent out a certain amount a week. Anyways, let's take a look at the cart itself. You could see that this is basically perfect. There's no dirt on this, so I'm going to test it now. Have not plugged this in. Again, let's just try Donkey Kong once. Yeah, it seems like the system's working now, but just to confirm, let's do this and play some RoboCop 3. RoboCop 3, here we go. Okay, good. Good, it's working. So the system works. Let's just double check. Oh man, the memories of this game. Whew. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is the this is that famous game where you shoot forward with one button, and then X is to shoot up. Yeah, I remember this. Oh, man.
All right, so let me point out a couple of things I've noticed while recording this, and one of them is that the original first-party Super Nintendo controller is clean on the outside. However, it's got one screw. It's one screw that is holding it together. So let's open this up quickly, and I'll show you it is one screw. This is one screw. Ready? It's one screw. Why is it one screw? That doesn't make any sense. Whoops. Oh no. So from the inside, you can tell that this controller was definitely cleaned. So I am happy about that. Let's get it off of the board. And yes, I can confirm the first-party Super Nintendo controller is definitely cleaned. That is interesting to see. Let's just double check under the pads here. Yep. Can you believe it? Super Nintendo controller that is clean. Very hard to believe. Okay. Okay. We're we're good with this one, but the issue would be it had one screw. So let's put that aside. We know it works. As you can see, the board, super clean. Very, very good condition. I'm gonna take a photo of it for you guys. You guys like photos? So there we go. The first controller is clean. Let's open up the second controller. This is a Super Famicom controller. For some odd reason, it's included in the bundle. Looks slightly different. It has the Nintendo logo that is actually etched into the controller. So this does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. That is the amount it should have. So let's open this one up. And I already know where this is headed. I know where this is headed. Yep. Because you saw earlier, not looking good. What do you think, Bird? Shut up. Here we go. And here we go, the last screw coming out. We already know that this controller looks like it lived in a sewer. Ready? Oh no. Okay, the bottom. You can see clearly here. Get this out. Clearly there's dirt in the controller here. I don't even want to lift this board up. Here we go. Oh God. Oh. Nope. Nope. This was not cleaned. This was definitely not cleaned. The D-pad is disgusting. Oh. Look at this. So, fully refurbished, eh? Where's that paper? What was your name? Whoever is AF at the company. Didn't happen. Didn't clean it. Didn't check this controller. So that is an issue right there. So far we've ran into 3 issues with the system. We're gonna open it up now. Let's just get to that. Here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Oh yeah, hear that? You hear that? Oh, it's turning. Look at that, Bird. Look at that. Get the f out of here. Yep, here we go. Here we go, we're opening it. Joey, does this turn you on, bud?
No.
Let me point out something quickly here, that the console itself does not have a void warranty sticker. So they're not saying like, do not open the console or else. Here we go. Wow. What? Wait. It's dusty. It's dusty. Look. So I've switched to the iPhone camera so you guys can see this. This is dusty. Look. If you look closely here, you can see right on my fingers there. It is not cleaned. Look at that. You see that right there? I moved the tray out of the way. So how this works is essentially this metal bar here can be pulled out. If you pull it out, I'm not going to go to town on the system. It's clearly not as clean as I would hope. You pull this bar out to the right. It removes a spring here that is part of the eject button system, but I'm not pulling it out completely. You can see right here though, if I move it down, look closely. There's some nuggets of deliciousness that have clearly, if you think about the system's design, when you're putting a cartridge in, somebody has stuck something in here or something fell in. You could see it. You could see it right on the metal casing, right there. Look at this. Look at how dirty that is. That's not refurbished on the controller. So what are my final thoughts? Let's go. Let's do my final thoughts. So do you order from Lukie Games? It's kind of difficult to say at this point. I would say no. I expect a lot more from these companies. Having worked in a retro video game store for as long as I did, seeing things like this is kind of commonplace. Seeing systems come in that are dirty, that kind of get a cleaning. You know, at the store I worked at, we never said we refurbished the console. Refurbished is a word that needs to be taken off of these websites. When they say refurbished, that means not sending out a console with a controller that has dirt in it from 1990. This is disgusting. So I don't know if I can recommend Lukie games at this point. We might actually have to order something else. Rich right now is like, oh God, here we go again. I mean, we got a working system. I had to bend the prongs on the power brick. Yes, it's an original power brick, but I had to bend the prongs to get it to plug in, and then it worked. Everything works, it's just dirty. It's like a little dirty here and there. So I'm gonna say at this point, it looks like we have to order more from Lukie Games. However, I'm assuming Lukie Games might be a little bit smarter than DK Oldies and Joey.
No.
They might be like, oh crap, let's pay attention to who's being sent systems. So at the end of the day, I can't recommend it on that word, refurbished. This is not refurbished. It's not happening. So I do not recommend it. Now, there's other options on the website that state you can get a system that is in a condition sort of like this came in. They've called this a great condition. I would say that the system's in great condition, but the controller is the worst aspect of this, and the broken AC adapter that I had to bend into place was not a great look, and this controller had one screw. So, I mean, there's not much else to say here. Listen, Lukie Games does not pass yet, but I'm not writing them off completely. We might have to order something else. The system works, the buttons work, the controllers work, the D-pads felt great, Donkey Kong plays great, but that controller, I want you to peck that f***ing controller clean, and if you don't do your job, I'm gonna rip your goddamn head off. So this is Jay from Review Tech Canada, signing out. Have a good one.